Only three things are guaranteed in life: birth, death, and taxes. I know, taxes in themselves can be very complicated, and little wonder tax consultants cut away thousands of pounds every year for providing their services and knowledge. The good news is, as an individual, you might actually not need a specialist to do your taxes. This is because in several countries, the tax system is set up to run on its own. In addition, you have several online calculators to determine very complicated ones. Unlike popular assumption, the UK tax system is actually straightforward. So let's go through the essentials and get a working understanding of how the system runs. So first, you need to acknowledge that almost everything is taxed: water, housing, accommodation, rented, owned, cars, clothes, sometimes food, with very few exemptions. The only reason you don't calculate it all the time is some are directly taxed. That means they've already been added to the amount you're paying, and some are indirect. Direct taxes are the ones you remit on your income and property, while indirect taxes automatically added to the price of goods and services.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
According to our filing, a lot of you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel. So guys, please do, because it encourages us to do more.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
A direct tax is determined by what you've earned at the end of the tax year. In the UK, the general principle is the higher you earn, the more you pay. Also, the more time you spend and have time in the UK, I'm sorry to break it to you, the UK residency tax might apply to you. It's also based on your worldwide income to prevent double taxation. The UK has a double taxation treaty with over 130 countries, including African countries like Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria. Now, non-UK residents are people that spend less than 46 days in the UK or have stayed outside the UK for at least 3 tax years. They are charged differently and are only required to pay on income they earn in the UK. So types of taxes. Follow me. We have the income tax. This is universal to everyone that earns. How much you pay is determined by how much of your income is above personal allowance. The standard personal allowance is £12,570. Anything above this is taxed. So let's go through a rough sketch. If your personal earning is £12,570, it attracts 0 tax. A basic earning rate upward of £12,570 to £50,270 attracts 20% tax. The higher earning rate is £50,271 to £150,000, and it requires 40% tax. Anything above this, big boy, is called an additional earning rate, and it attracts 45% tax. To pay your income tax as a migrant, you need to have a national insurance number, and you can qualify with this with proof that you have a right to work in the UK. That is, you have a skilled worker visa, an equivalent of it. Property tax. Yes, they tax houses too. Property tax is divided into 2. The first tax is called the stamp duty land tax, paid in the purchase of a house in the UK. Any purchase of property over £125,000 attracts this type of tax. It's payable in England and Northern Ireland, as it is a stepped rate tax. You might need an online calculator to determine how much exactly you're paying. The second tax on the property that applies to most people is the council tax, and it's paid on all rented property. The municipality has access to the property in their various jurisdictions and determines applicable taxes. Still on homes, there's also tax for renting out your property, room or apartment, car, road, airport charges also. If you drive or have a car registered with a driver vehicle licensing agency, then you're paying this too. The amount varies according to the vehicle type and is determined based on factors like the size of engines, type of fuel used, and CO2 emission. Interestingly, electric cars are exempted from this tax. Leaving the UK by air, well, you're paying tax too, but this is typically included in the cost of tickets, so no yawa. Value added tax. It applies to all imported goods that are not within personal import limits. Taxes on items like food, children clothes, and baby car seats are either reduced or exempted. Other payable taxes are capital gain tax, UK dividend tax, and so on. Now, tax exemptions. Few things go on tax in the UK. Things like money in a savings account, money earned from lottery or betting, long service awards, and a couple more. So who do you pay tax to? The HMRC is responsible for administering and collecting property, income, capital gains, corporation, UK inheritance, insurance premium, stamp, land, petroleum revenue, environmental, climate change, aggregate level, landfill taxes. They also manage the value-added tax. The local government, on the other hand, is in charge of council taxes and some other charges like street parking fees. So pay your parking tickets, guys. How can you pay? Well, income tax is automatically deducted from your paycheck as an employee, and the deduction is done with a system called pay as you earn. In this case, where this is not done, everyone has to file their tax to the HM Revenue and Customs, either by paper or online. So a few things that will help you in filing. The tax year runs from April 6th to April 5th the following year. You can file your self-assessment return by post or online. I would encourage you to do online though. To do this, you need a unique tax reference number. The deadline to file your tax documents and notify the HMRC of any changes is 30th of December online and 31st of January the following year if you are filing by paper. Spouses living in the UK should know that they are treated as different entities, therefore spouses are taxed separately. What happens if you don't file or pay your tax? Well, you pay a fine. You pay £100 for filing 3 months after the deadline. You pay £300 for 5% of the liability in 6 months. And in an extreme case, you can be fined 200% of tax liability. And local government can also charge you to court for not paying your tax. And I'm sure you don't want that. I'm sure we've all heard of tax rebates, but the chances are low. Although rebates are rare, they are accessible if you've had so much tax deduction from your pay, or you stopped working, or took out a pension. As you can see, taxes are not so difficult to navigate. It also helps that most of your filing is done online. Using the right template, paying your taxes won't be an hassle. So if you liked this video, please share, subscribe, and also talk about it so people can find us. Bye.